We ready to fight. Yeah, I want to go fight.
We met Dewitt Jackson earlier this year as part of Chronicle the Cost of Freedom.
I had 23 shrapnel wounds on this right side and a concussion right eardrum. So the war was over for me.
Born in 1920, the Fountain Inn native went on to earn a Purple Heart in World War II, fighting among the so-called Buffalo Soldiers, a name Native Americans gave to African Americans in the U.S. Cavalry.
I'm fighting along for America with Americans, and yet some Americans would come up and insult, you know.
Jackson, though, stood up for himself and this country.
My father loved his country, and he was a loving, caring, kind man.
And today, so many people stood for him. A star-spangled salute for a man who lived to serve others.
Dewitt was always a type person. He helped anybody, anytime, anywhere.
Family and friends came from all over to say goodbye.
Dewitt Jackson was a man of God, and he didn't wave a flag, but his life showed it.
And Jackson's love for the American flag lives on through his children. He had 18 of them.
I am Dwight David Jackson, named after President Eisenhower, who was the commander-in-chief, of course, of the armed forces during the Second World War.
My name is Adlai, after Adlai Stevenson, who was the vice president at one time.
All the time, Jackson was known as a man who had the strength to fight 2 wars.
They had to fight the battle of ingrained and entrenched prejudices against them because of their national origin, and then they had to go off. They went off voluntarily and fought and stood in the gap and fought against the common enemy of that day.
He came home a hero back then.
And I would ask everyone that knew Dewitt if they would follow his footsteps, because he followed Jesus.
And went home.
He preached his own funeral. He was a very compassionate man.
The same way. Mike McCormick, WIFF News 4, Greenville County.